Today we are talking about what does it take to become a top Ferrari customer. As far as I know, I'm the only person that is an actual Ferrari top customer making a video about what it actually takes to be a Ferrari top customer. First of all, what is that? The top Ferrari customers are roughly the top 600 collectors of Ferraris in the world. Why does that even matter? Well, that gets you the exclusive access to their most coveted, highly collectible cars at MSRP. What am I talking about? Well, let's look at the market today. Currently, a LaFerrari is selling for about $5 million. When that car came out, depending on your spec, ours was spec'd out very well, and the MSRP was $1,749,000. So my journey becoming a top Ferrari customer started back in about 2017. I thought I would walk into the Ferrari dealership local in my town, make a huge splash, and just cut straight to the top and become one of their most valuable customers. At the time, they were selling the Ferrari Californias and the 488s. I bought my wife a Ferrari California for $220,000. I bought a used 488 coupe for $350,000. I had to buy the used cars at the dealership to gain access to then order my very first brand new Ferrari, which I also did that day. I ordered the 488 Spider at an MSRP of $430,000. So day one, I walk in, I buy 3 Ferraris. I spent exactly $1 million, and come to find out, all that did was make me an active Ferrari customer, not even a VIP. Today, to do that exact same thing, when you walk into a dealership, you cannot just walk in brand new off the street and order a new Ferrari, which means you need to buy a used car from that dealer. I would argue you need to buy 3, just like I did on my first day. And if I were walking in today, what would I do? I would buy a used SF90. They're a bargain right now at $400,000. That's a 1,000 horsepower car. I'd buy a used 296, get the GTB, get the cheapest one you can. That's around $350,000, give or take. You're absolutely gonna have to buy a GT car, so buy a used Roma. That's $250,000. Coincidentally, today you still walk in, become an active customer for, that totals out to be $1 million. Now, your goal is to become a top Ferrari customer. So that means you're gonna have to have one of every new production car on order at a minimum. You're gonna place an order for an SF90 Spider. Those are around $650,000, moderately spec'd out. Our SF90 Spider, we spec'd out a little bit heavy, and it was $715,000. Order a Ferrari 296, again, you're gonna have to spec these cars out at least to a moderate degree, and let's face it, carbon fiber is very expensive, and that's what you're gonna spec the car out with. So you're gonna end up with a moderately spec'd out 296 GTS for about $500,000. Ours was $535,000, and I did not go crazy on the specs. Next, you're gonna have to order a new GT car, and as we just saw released this week, the Amalfi. That's about a $280,000 base MSRP car. Again, no Ferrari leaves the factory as a base. You're gonna have to spec it out. Even if you spec it out somewhat modestly, you're gonna spend about $350,000. And let's not forget, they have the Puro Sangue, the Ferrari SUV or FUV, Ferrari utility vehicle. Pro tip, do not refer to it as an SUV when you walk in the dealership. It's highly frowned upon. Moderately spec, $450,000. Ours was $551,000. Yes, we went carbon fiber everywhere, but we didn't do special paint or anything like that. So it could have been even more, believe it or not. And you've got to order the new 12 Cilindri. If you really want to impress the sales manager and the general manager there, pronounce it correctly, 12 Cilindri. Don't call it a 12 Cilindri. Again, moderately spec'd out, about $650,000. Ours was $720,000. Again, we went crazy on the carbon fiber inside and out. We did put a nice stripe going down the middle and an upgraded paint, not a super special paint. Nonetheless, getting all those cars on order today is gonna run you about $2.6 million. You have now spent $3.6 million with the brand. Congratulations, you are now a VIP. You are not getting access to an SF90XX. You're not getting the next special version of the 12 Cilindri. For example, of the 812 Superfast, they came out with the 812 Competizione or Competizione Aperta, which is the Spider version of that car. You're not getting those cars. You will be able to order your cars pretty quickly and early in line, and you'll be invited to a lot of Ferrari events, but you are not in the top 600 in the world yet. Now we get into the real money. But before we get into that, let's talk about the watch of the day. Today I'm rocking the yellow gold Rolex Yachtmaster. This watch is absolutely super duper cool. It was fresh in my brain this morning because we were in the Bahamas last week. I brought a Patek 5712 1R, which I absolutely love. Saw another guy rocking his yellow gold Yachtmaster, and I realized that was the perfect watch to be wearing in the Bahamas. Made me wish I'd have brought mine. So I'm rocking ours today. As you may know, this watch was specifically designed not only for boating and yachting, but for the regatta, which I don't sail. I'm not an expert on it, but you do have this really cool chronograph that counts down from 10 minutes down to 0, and I believe that's what they use in terms of starting out and spacing the boats out at the beginning of that race. Comment below if you know exactly how that works out. I'm not an expert on it. Now, let's get back to the real money. To be a top 600 customer, not only do you have to have the 3 cars that I told you to go buy used from the dealership, you gotta have one of every model they currently have for sale, which is 5 different cars. That gets you 8 cars in your profile with Ferrari. Then you've got to have some of the really big cars. As we all know, we've talked about the Ferrari Big 5 for many years. We now have the Big 6, which includes the F80. But the cars I'm talking about the Ferrari 288 GTO, the F40, the F50, the Enzo, LaFerrari, and now the F80. In recent years, Ferrari's also included a new line of very, very limited edition cars known as the Icona cars. Currently, there's the Monza SP1, SP2, and now one of the most beautiful cars to come from Maranello in quite some time, SP3 Daytona. Absolutely remarkable, beautiful car. Ferrari actually looks at their collectors of these cars, and as these are 2 different verticals of cars. There's the top 6 cars, and now there's the Icona cars. So to have access to both of those cars, you need to have some of those in the garage. If I were starting out today from 0, I would go buy a LaFerrari. Hopefully you can get a bargain at about 4.7 million. Currently they're trading closer to 5. I put 4.7 million here on my little spreadsheet. Just like me, you're probably gonna negotiate very hard. Once you've acquired your beautiful LaFerrari, next up will be an Enzo. At a minimum, you need that Enzo in your collection to become a top customer because it's produced in even more limited numbers than the LaFerraris. 499 LaFerraris produced. There was 399 Enzos produced. 400 if you count the one produced for the Pope. But that gives you a big car in even smaller numbers. From there, you also need to have at least one of the Icona cars in your collection. If it were me, I think that going out and buying the current Daytona SP3 probably gives you the best bet of getting the next car, which will be the SP4. Highly speculated that car is going to be released sometime next year. I don't have bona fide facts on that. So you do still have time, if you happen to be sitting on this kind of money, to buy your way to the top and hopefully get access to the SP4. This way you now have 2 of the Big 6, and you've got at least the most recent Icona car in your collection. And currently, Enzos are selling for about 4.5. I know a yellow one just sold for $5 million 2 weeks ago. And the SP3s, the Daytona SP3s, are currently selling for at least 6.5 million, probably a little bit more. But that's still not enough. You still, I would argue, need to go and get an 812 Competizione. I would go ahead and get the coupe because it's about $400,000, maybe $500,000 cheaper than the Spider, and you can pick up an 812 comp for about $1.8 million. I believe you're probably going to need another limited edition V8 in your collection. Go get a 458 Speciale Aperta, not the coupe. Yes, the coupe's a great car. They made a lot more of them. You've got to build your collection out of limited numbered cars. The cars that are produced in the lower volume, the more limited they are, the more points and weight it carries in your Ferrari profile. The most recent one sold for just a little over $1.6 million. This is still not enough for you to become a top Ferrari customer. Now we've got to talk about the actual true history of the Ferrari brand, which we all know was born in racing. And I am proud to say that racing is still very, very strong in the Ferrari DNA today. It's very important. You absolutely must be participating in one of two forms of racing with Ferrari. I'm going to talk about the cheap form of it. Well, cheap, if you will. More economical version. I currently do race in the Ferrari Challenge Series. I absolutely love it. But I started out last season in Club Challenge, where essentially you're going out there and you get a bunch of practice sessions all weekend long, but you're not wheel-to-wheel competing and racing with the other drivers on the track at that time. It's a great way to get into racing. Currently, a 296 Challenge car is about $430,000, but you need about another $35,000 of equipment, radio, TPMS, and different elements needed inside that car for it to be cleared and be ready to participate in the Ferrari track event. You're going to have 6 Club Challenge weekends per year. It costs about $25,000 per day to run that race car. So that's about $75,000 a weekend across 6 different track weekends, and you're going to spend about $450,000. Now, mind you, it's going to be more expensive than that. That's a guaranteed. If you're out there learning, you're going to have mishaps, and you're going to have probably some small scrapes and things like that along the way. You're going to break some things along the way. You are going to have repair costs. I realistically would budget another $150,000 on top of that for your challenge race season. Now, you're getting very, very close. You've spent just shy of $24 million at this point. The good news is the final box that I'm going to insist that you check to guarantee you become a Ferrari top customer is cavalcades. And you need to do at least one of those a year. To participate in one of these cavalcades, they have them all over the world. They are absolutely extraordinary events. My wife and I just got back from the 30-year celebration of the Ferrari F50 cavalcade. It was absolutely amazing. We drove some incredible roads throughout Italy in our F50. We chose to fly our car over because of the value of that car today. That car is roughly $7 million currently today. We flew it over and we flew it back. Now, let's just say you participate in a cavalcade that's built around maybe some of the more modern cars, and you send over a Ferrari that's not nearly $7 million in value. Maybe you send over your SF90 or your 296, and maybe you want to try to save a lot of money, and I suggest that you do shipping the car via boat over to Italy or whatever country you participate in the cavalcade in, and boat it back. That will save you a tremendous amount of money. That will save you probably about $40,000 versus flying it there and flying it back. Even if you do that, plus the cost of the cavalcade, it's the least expensive box to check, but you need to check it. It's going to run you about $75,000. Now, you've got 3 of Ferrari's most iconic, most limited edition, big cars in your collection. You've got everything on order. You've got at least 3 or 4 or 5 cars in the garage currently, in addition to your big cars. You're now racing with Ferrari. You've got your race car. You're participating in the events, and you're doing cavalcades. You have spent just shy of $24 million. Now, you spent your $24 million, and congratulations, you are most likely inside the top 600 Ferrari customers in the world. None of these rules were set by Ferrari. None whatsoever. They did not create this checklist and everybody had to go out there and check all those boxes and then we all just went and did it. That's not what happened at all. This is how much enthusiasm and passion there is around the Ferrari brand. We are in competition as consumers with one another, so that when Ferrari does come out with an SF90XX, an 812 Competizione Aperta, the F80, or any other, the 296 Speciale, or any of the other really limited edition cars to come down the pipeline, the SP4, the SP5, we can only imagine what those are going to be, and we all want the opportunity to own and enjoy these cars. So we continue to buy more of the Ferrari brand. We participate more in what the brand has to offer. And so when they come out with these cars, they got to say, hey, we've only got 599 cars of these being made. How do we award these cars? Well, who are our top 599 most loyal customers, most dedicated customers in the world, that we're going to reward them with the opportunity to buy these cars? And think about the reward. The reward is incredible on some of these cars. Think about our F50. That was what, about a $400,000 car in the day? It's now selling for $7 million. And I could go on and on and on. $1.6 million for a 458 Speciale Aperta. That's what, a $500,000, $550,000 car originally? Maybe not even that much. And it's not all about the money. At least for me, it most certainly is not. I have to say, whether I ever got another new Ferrari or not, whether there was not the Ferrari top 600 in the world that gave me access to all these things or not, every Ferrari we have in our collection, I would own either way. These cars are cars that I dreamt of as a little boy. The racing. I would participate in the racing either way. I first attended the Rolex 24-hour race as a guest with Ferrari back in 2017 before I ever even knew what the Ferrari top customer situation looked like. And I saw those guys out there racing their Ferrari challenge cars around the track. I saw the level of competition out there, the passion, dedication, and sheer joy that these guys had. And immediately I knew I wanted to participate in that. Now, like most of us, I had to wait until my kids got a little bit older because my weekends were going to be dedicated to my time with the family. But now that I'm at that place in life, I'm able to race in the Ferrari Challenge Series. It is an absolute amazing life experience. Now, is it worth it? The cavalcades, the racing, every bit of it, I would do regardless of any ROI that I may or may not get from future Ferraris with that car. And the thing of it is with Ferrari, you can't deny the value of the brand. So all these cars have become massive assets that my family will one day inherit. So it gives me a tremendous sense of pride and enjoyment. Is it right for you? Listen, $24 million is a tremendous amount of money to make on this investment. I think the only person who can answer that is you.